This might be the best trail in Delaware County that you've never heard of. So you should keep watching, because along this trail we're going to discover stone ruins, we're going to see a serpentine barren, we're going to see small boulder fields, and then also we're going to see 2 old stone arches that were part of a old stone barn. So lots to discover along this trail, and you're going to want to stay tuned to keep watching. So I love a good challenge. There's the Tyler Arboretum in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, and they have a trails challenge right now. So they have this trails tracker passport, and the goal is to hike all 17 miles of trails by the end of 2025. So this started at the end of the summer. I'm a little late to the party. It's about October 20th. I'm gonna get started today, and I think the best way to start a challenge like this is to start with the hardest trail. So today I'm gonna be hiking the Minshall Trail. It's 7.9 miles. It's one of the most rugged remote trails at the Arboretum. So I'm gonna take you along with me, and we're gonna start tackling the challenge. Okay, so I'm at the Arboretum, and what I'm doing now is, when you think of an arboretum, you don't often think of hiking trails, but there's 17 miles of hiking trails here. And in order to access them, you have to go outside the gated area. So basically they have a fence to protect the plants from deers and things like that. So you have to go past that area to reach the hiking trails. So this is gonna be a little bit of a longer trail at 7.9 miles, but perfect day to do this. And the really nice thing is, a lot of times I have to drive far to get to hikes, and then I have to do shorter hikes because I'm pressed for time. This is right in my neighborhood, so I'm gonna be able to have the time to do a longer hike today. All right, so let's take a second here and look at the map. So this is where we're headed, to gate 2. And as you can see, the Minshall Trail is gonna go all the way around the edge of the property here. You can see there's some boulder fields. There's supposed to be some ruins and things along the way. We're gonna just keep snaking our way here until eventually we're gonna come back up to where we started. My gosh, look at the size of this tree. Huge. So I made it to the gate. They just want to make sure that you keep that gate closed after you go through. It's really important to keep the deer and the wildlife out of the Arboretum section. And I haven't hiked their trails here for a really long time because they had a problem with the emerald ash borer, and I believe they had to take down something like 500 trees from the woods. So a lot of the hiking trails have been closed, and that's part of why they're doing this challenge. Now that everything, all 17 miles here, are reopened, they want to encourage people to get back on the trails again. That's why they're doing this trail challenge. And if you hike all 17 miles, you get a sticker, and then you also get entered to win some prizes. So sometimes things like this are nice. It gives you a little reminder of trails that might be in your backyard. So we are going to be following white blazes. So I'm not certain if hunting is allowed here or not. Obviously it's not allowed in the gated Arboretum, but now we're outside. Some of these lands back up Shoe Ridley Creek, and it is archery hunting season, so I figured I'm just gonna put on the orange just in case. I have it with me. This is the kind of thing I always keep in my bag in the fall just to be prepared. So here's a little information about what I was talking about. So the area had a large proportion of dead or declining ash trees that were removed for safety, and then they're planning for a future of this space. So if you want to hike here at the Arboretum, you are going to have to pay a small admission fee. The other thing that I would recommend, if you're someone that has access to the local library system, Delaware County libraries, you're able to go on and reserve a free pass. So that's another way to enjoy this area if maybe you don't have the funds to visit. These are puffball mushrooms. See what happens when you do that. How cool is that? So we've got some slight wind today, nothing dangerous. Looks like the trail's heading down a slope here. Lately I've been hiking a little bit with my husband, but today I'm out here solo. His nature of his job is that it kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes he'll be very, very busy. Sometimes he'll be really slow and have time during the day to do things. So it all kind of balances out. But I do like doing a solo hike because then I can kind of linger and take my time. And he probably wouldn't have wanted to do a 7.9 mile loop, but I'm good with that today because it's such a beautiful day. I'm wearing my Osprey Daylight Plus pack. I absolutely love this little pack. It's just perfect for like a single person for a short day hike. I have a bigger REI one when we're doing longer things or national parks. The kids are along, but this has just worked out so nicely for me. All right, so this is gonna be hard to see, but there is an old stone ruin back there. And you can kind of see the foundation here. And you can kind of tell a giveaway in Ridley Creek is anytime they have these fences, or in the Tyler Arboretum area, anytime these fences like this, it's to protect you from falling into an old structure or things like that. So there's one here. The birds I'm seeing along this trail are amazing. I kind of have regret that I didn't carry my Canon camera with me today because they're just everywhere. Just heard a woodpecker in the tree, saw a blue jay. So I don't know if it's because I just watched Cliff's video about the guy in the woods in his underwear, but I swear to God, I just saw a guy kind of jump out in the woods below me. Maybe it was a deer, I don't know. Freaked me out a little bit. Extremely creaky tree. I've got my mace ready. Sometimes something just catches your eye and startles you. Maybe it wasn't a person. I don't know, it looked like a guy in a gray sweatshirt. Right, so it must have been a deer or something, or just my imagination with the falling leaves, but definitely freaked myself out a little bit. So the sun has come out again. When the sun's out, you can really see the leaf color a lot better. The old stone walls stacked there. This may be a great one to hike in the winter time because once all the greenery and things die down, you'd have a lot better view of a lot of the ruins and things like that we've been seeing on the trail. So we're hiking along a little creek here, but you can see how shallow things are right now. We're going through the drought period. Things are dry around here. And I think this is where we're supposed to go. So I just want to bring this up. If you're looking for an extra way to support the channel and you love what I do here, an easy way to do that is become a channel member. So at $1.99 a month, you get access to some special members only videos. I have about 20. I'm creating more all the time. Get a couple of new special videos every month, and you get a shout out at the end of every video. Now, if you watch a lot of YouTubers, you might be wondering, why are people always pushing Patreon or YouTube channel memberships? And it's because you think as a YouTube creator, you make so much off YouTube. The reality is you don't. You're making a couple dollars off a video that sometimes takes you hours to film, to edit, hours to drive places. And we do it because we love it. You know, like, I'm not in this to make money. I'm doing it because I want to encourage everybody to get outside, and I love doing this. This is my passion. But that's why, if you can swing it, the channel membership is such an awesome way to support your favorite creator. It helps so much more than you think it would. So I have 6 channel members. They've been with me for a long time. I'm so grateful for them. And I'd love to add a few more to the mix. So if you want to consider that, I'll have a link in my description where you can become a channel member. property here, this is pretty interesting. So the land here was given to Thomas Minshall, and we're on the Minshall Trail. He was given the land by William Penn. So you can see there were some signage that there's a slight boulder field, and you can kind of see that down there. There's a lot of rocks and things. The trail doesn't lead down there, so I'm hesitant to go off trail. It's certainly not like some of the other more impressive boulder fields we have in Pennsylvania, but still pretty cool that that's right here in Delaware County. So I always think this is cool when you see a tree with a unique root structure like that. So I'm over the halfway point now. I'm just gonna stop and take a drink and have some of my snacks, eat a little lunch, and then we're gonna keep going to finish the rest of the trail. So this is why I'm wearing the hunting vest. As you can see, there are tree stands throughout this area, so it's better to just be safe than sorry. So I saw some complaints on all trails, kind of about the conditions of the trails. I think everything's been in really great condition. There's no blowdowns. As you can see, things are pretty well worn. Signage is great. There's another tree stand, nobody in it right now. All right, so we're gonna go back through the gate again. Oh, how pretty is this? Wow. So as you can see, we're still following white. Now white is intersected with pink. You can see lots of acorns have fallen from the trees. Area behind me is Pink Hill. This is Delaware County's last remaining serpentine barren. So if you're not familiar with what a serpentine barren is, kind of like a special grassland. It has a rare type of bedrock where the soil has an imbalance of magnesium, calcium, and high levels of nickel. So this is toxic to most plants, but it's ideal for the threatened and endangered species that grow in these serpentine barrens. So this is just telling you about Pink Hill. It's Delaware County's last serpentine barren. And this area was once part of Tyler Arboretum serpentine barren, an ecosystem that supports some rare plants and animals and ones that's found in only a few places in the world. And Tyler Arboretum is working with the partnering organizations to remove the forest and restore Pink Hill to its pre-1930 savanna in order to protect the last remaining barren in this county. So one super important piece of information I want to pass on is I know a lot of us like to hike with our pets. All of these trails, pets are not permitted on, so just keep that in mind. So you can see that somebody's got like a little deer stand hideout thing up by the property. So another good reason to just wear your blaze orange as you go through here. This is also a good reason here. Someone's arrow. So this is listed on the map as another little boulder field here, and you can see it's pretty filled in, but there are a number of rocks, ferns and stuff. Look how cool this is. Isn't that neat? So I don't know if you can see it, but a little tiny deer just took off ahead of us here. It looked very young. You can see that little tail go up and they go off. So it looks like we're going down here. Oh, great blue heron. Wow, it just flew away. You can see that huge wingspan. It was down in the creek area. Got a bridge here, but you're really going to have a lot of water. So I have gone about 6.5 out of 8 miles. So we're getting there. There they go. They saw me. I think the GoPro noise scared them. It's funny sometimes when you startle the deer and you hear that kind of like huff sound they make, kind of like a snort before they run away. That's what they did. Now we've got some more ruins over here off to the side. So we've got this old stone archway. How neat is that? All right, so there's a pretty well-worn path to get up here. Very cool archway. some ferns growing on it there. And if we keep going up here, oh, you got another archway here. So I don't know what this was, but how cool is that? You can see the stone debris from whatever this structure was. This is definitely not something you see in the woods every day, and there isn't any water, so I'm not sure. You know, like sometimes you see the archway, it's easy to say, oh, this was a bridge. Doesn't look like that to me because I don't see any water that would be going over. We'll just get one last look of that here. Actually, there's more walls this way. Let's look. Yeah, so we've got another wall here. Very interesting. This trail just keeps on getting cooler and cooler. I'm really impressed with the stuff I've seen on it today. Okay, so I got my answer about the stone archways. They are the ruins of a stone barn. So they're pieces of a barn and they're found in that area. And that makes sense because when I looked at it, you could just tell it wasn't for a bridge. And that's very cool that a barn was built with those stone archways like that and that two of them are still standing. So some portions of the trail feel very remote, and at others, like this one, you're going past people's properties. So now we're back into a meadow type area. They've got these little bird houses and birds going in and out of them and birds in the brush everywhere. On days like this, I just wish we could have this weather the whole year, forever. These fall days are so beautiful, and they're also so bittersweet because you know it's going to end eventually and we're going to get into the cold season. And I mean, that has wonderful parts too, but these days are just, you got to make the most of them. And I tend to do so much hiking in the fall just because you know the cold is coming and you feel like time is running out. You got to make the most of it. So this is interesting. This is the American Chestnut Foundation. This is the Pennsylvania chapter. And in conjunction with the American Chestnut Foundation, Tyler Arboretum is playing an active role in the reforestation of the American chestnut tree, the American landscape. So these American chestnut trees have been grown from seed to produce plant material with the characteristics of Pennsylvania chestnut trees. When they produce flowers, they'll be used in a backcross breeding program, the goal which is to produce an American chestnut tree resistant to the blight, which has eliminated them from the American forest. So very cool. I've got about a mile to go, but I think this is a great way to start the trail challenge here at Tyler Arboretum. I tackled the hardest trail today. This is the longest one, so it's kind of fun to tackle a challenge head on like that and do the hardest part first. So you can see we're getting closer to the end. We're getting closer to coming back in the fencing of the Arboretum once again. So we have to keep going that way for white, but these red trees drew my eye, so I want to go in here for a minute. Just look at this. How beautiful are these? Look at that vibrant red color. We're back on white and we're going to keep going here. And just to show you here, the white trail really did come in right shy of 8 miles. It took me 3 hours and 29 minutes to do this, and it was awesome. I'm very tempted to try to do another trail, but I really shouldn't because I have dinner to make and things I have to do at the house. But it is such a beautiful day. Oh man, it's so tempting to keep going. I am basically back to the gate where I started. I've got my hunting gear off now since I'm going to be going back into the Arboretum in the fenced in area where there's no hunting. But thank you so much for coming along with me. This was an awesome hike, exceeded all my expectations, and I will be back because I want to complete the 17-mile trail challenge by the end of the year. So I think it may take me 2 more trips, but stay tuned. I'll show you some of the other trails here and we'll explore more of the Arboretum. If you're interested in learning more about the Arboretum in general, I have a couple videos on my channel page, including one about the giant sequoia that grows here. So be sure to check that out. Thanks for watching. Bye.